In this episode, we look at the intricate supply chain world of petroleum, chemicals, and gas, and explore how Unitrans is navigating this complex landscape. Let's discuss the current industry trends, challenges, and opportunities. And to help me with this, let's welcome Palisa, Craig, and Louis.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you. My name is Craig Mainstone. I am operational exec for the Petroleum freight division, focusing on the African countries. So Botswana, Namibia, Eswatini, and Mozambique, and predominantly fuel and gas transportation.
Thank you, Craig.
Morning, everybody. I'm Louis Stale. I'm the General Manager for our Cape region for Petroleum Division, and mainly looking after the Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and Northern Cape areas.
Thank you, Louis.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Palisa Monareng, and I'm the Key Accounts Manager under Chemicals. Basically looking after our strategic customers and looking after our relationships in growing our business.
Very nice. Thank you, Palisa. The petroleum and chemicals and gas sector is quite a complex one. I'm sure you'd agree. So help us understand what the current industry landscape is looking like.
I think I'll start. I think the landscape is a complex and ever-changing landscape. It's changed a lot in the last 10 to 15 years. It's migrated away from the traditional oil majors, as they're called, or international oil companies. It's migrated more towards traders, fuel traders. So the likes of Puma and a lot of traders that are bringing in their own fuel, importing it, and then distributing it via their networks. So the landscape has changed, and Unitrans obviously adapting to that landscape.
Thank you.
Yeah, tagging on to that, we can say, listen, with the oil refineries in Cape Town, Aston refineries operating still there, they have invested a lot of money in upgrading that facility and producing cleaner fuels for the market. And then you see also a shift in the Durban refineries, more importing products these days. So that has changed. And with the multi-product pipeline going up into the Gauteng area, that is quite reliable over the last few years. So you've seen a lot of road bridging actually transitioning out of that space, and you get all of the main depots receiving product from Durban with the imports, and then the smaller depots out there that takes a little bit of road bridging still.
And in the chemical space, Palisa, what are you seeing?
It's the same for the chemical space. A lot of imports have actually changed the industry as a whole. And as a result, this has then brought a new challenge on price, because now you have more players in the game, and that makes it a bit more difficult to manage as with the traders. I mean, they go for the lowest price, obviously. So we see the industry changing in this way, but also affecting even our standards, our regulations around the industry, especially around chemicals. As you know, there's been so much emphasis on transporting chemicals, for example, and having chemicals on the road versus rail, and with our rail infrastructure. So that too has changed. You get more stricter rules, but then also versus the complexity around managing the price aspect.
Awesome. Now, in terms of current trends, Palisa, you've indicated there's the price competition is heating up. Maybe a lot more commoditization is starting to happen, and you've also hinted on regulation. What are you seeing in your spaces in terms of trends?
I think if it's the foremost trend is a reduction in rates. So the trading industry is very much price dominated. So prices, it's all about price now. It's become about the cheapest price, who's the cheapest transporter. As a result, the traders are not as reliant or as focused on safety regulations, which obviously Unitrans keeps a very, very high standard in terms of safety and check and those components. So it's making it difficult to compete with a lot of transporters, but we're definitely seeing that the rates are being pushed down
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see on the branded marketers, they also still, the oil majors are still very much safety focused. There's just a lot of more players that understand that game now, and understand. Listen, they have to put so much more in it, in the equipment that they use, the training that they supply their teams with, and the same standards as that we as Unitrans is doing. And we are like-minded with our oil majors. We expect the best of our people. We expect the best of equipment and the high standard of equipment that is actually helping our teams to succeed out there in the field and delivering a safe product to the customer at the best possible price.
Yeah. Absolutely. Great. Would you be able to give us an overview of Unitrans's petroleum, chemicals, and gas solutions, all the different solutions that you offer to the different customer bases?
Yeah, so I can start off there. On terms of the petroleum side of it, we mainly big time is petroleum fuel to the service stations, in other words, the secondary transport. We do also a bit of bridging work to some of the sites where it's not taking as pipeline. So that is still ongoing. And then it is on the side of the LPG market, which is a bit more complex than that, and especially we get the winter demands. You see a big fluctuation in demand, and then the supply constraints that goes with that. And then we supply that additional fleet during that period in order to get product to the market where it's needed.
I think on the chemical side, it's the same. It's just that I always say what we then offering is actually our tagline. We make it happen. So on the chemical side, bearing in mind the dangerous products that we carry and the safety around it, and also with all these competitors or the new entrants that are coming in, we make it happen still. So basically the solution we provide is, yes, we give you transportation safely, and we'll make sure that we'll pick up your product from point A to point B where you want us to deliver it to. But what we're also finding now that is so interesting, especially when we're going through the RFQs, is that clients are actually looking for value added benefit. So they know we're a transport company, good and well, we've got this beautiful safety profile, but what they're now asking is, and then so what? What more can you give us? And that is now what we are facing, that we are giving solutions. We're not only going to give you a truck and a driver and an authority to say, definitely we'll transport you, but we're going to give you value added. We'll give you technology. You'll be able to see where your load is. We give you all these extra benefits on top of that.
Sure.
Maybe if I can just add on, one of our, for example, one of our customers in Botswana, we've Botswana Oil Limited, which is our biggest customer. We provide them a tracking report, which is an automated report they receive 3 times a day, and it has all their trucks which are dedicated to their contract, which is about 81 trucks, and they are able to see at any time where their loads are. So we're in the process, if it's been ordered, if it's been uplifted, if it's on the way back to Botswana, the current estimated time of arrival. Any information that they would want is on that report, and they get sent to them 3 times a day.
So if we can get into there, so in terms of the vehicle telematics, we track that information. We apply geofences to the various customer sites. You can do actually the analysis on the specific sites. You pick up, what time the vehicle has arrived at the site, what time it left on the site. You pick up what is where your bottlenecks in the system are, and you can actually address that and help the customer to identify solutions for that issue or that bottleneck to try and eliminate as much as possible. And further to that, in terms of the retail space, you can pick up on certain sites where there is a long delivery process ongoing. So the vehicle spend a lot of time in there, and then you could use your data analysis in that way that you actually address the customers and help them actually finding a solution and then reducing those specific sites. For example, one of the delivery sites that we go to where the tanks are fitted below the ground and where the filler points are is sometimes far off, and depending on that flow of that product, that flow could be actually quite slow, and that means you spend so much more time at that site, and then revamping that site and redesigning that site actually then reduces the offloading time that you spend on forecourt and ultimately improve your turnaround time there.
Excellent. Unitrans is a market leader in this highly competitive and sounds very stressful industry. So how have you been able to establish yourselves as market leaders in this space?
I think Unitrans is a tried and tested brand that has been on a journey for many years. I mean, some of our countries like Botswana have been operating for over 50 years. Unitrans has had a very strong presence, and I think it's our reliability, our fleet size, the fact that we've got such a large fleets in so many different countries that we can flex when a customer needs deliveries, more deliveries in a certain area, we're able to come to the party and assist. Our safety record is excellent. We're very serious about safety, and it's very well known in the market. And I think all our product offerings that, as Palesa was alluding to, all the extras that we add, the technology, the dashboards, the telematics. Obviously, Louis spoke about the mixed telematics. We have programs which bolt onto the telematics, where you're able to have in the transport management system, you've got a thing called the journey management plan, which is where it tracks the whole driver's plan with predetermined rest stops and no-go zones and all the borders, etc. And if a driver goes off route or stops for too long or basically speeds or anything, we get an alert and that gets addressed immediately. So I think our customers know that we have those value adds, and it comes as a complete package. And I think that's what makes us very competitive.
That sounds amazing. Good coverage of the SADC region.
Yes.
Let's move on to some of the challenges and opportunities in this space. Louis, you spoke earlier on you mentioned the multi-purpose pipeline. I'm assuming you're talking about the Transnet multi-purpose pipeline.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. What is your view on the quality and quantity of the available infrastructure facilities?
I think South Africa is well positioned. We've got some refineries on the coast. We've got some refineries inland. And then being a net importer of product, there is storage facilities available across the coastal regions. Challenges for them is really when there is shipping coming in and there's delays in shipping, and then you have sometimes a area or a depot along the coast that actually runs out of product, and that's mainly because of the ship or the vessel that takes mega volumes bringing into the country, and it actually has multi-port stops along the way. If it gets delayed at any of those areas or any of those depots, be it weather conditions, it just can't get in, then that vessel gets delayed 2 or 3 days. Then it starts offloading, and then everybody along the coast is then affected. And as it goes to the next depot, one of them may run out of product of a particular one, be it diesel, be it ULP, and then that's where that challenge is. And that area then is then affected, that you simply can't get product out, and they will have to make another plan. And when we talk about the solutions, so that's where we come into our flexibility of our fleet, our customer centricity, and when we talk about that, you say, listen here, an area, for argument's sake, Mossel Bay, for argument's sake, is out of product of specific product is being diesel, for argument's sake, then our fleet is able to either load from Mossel Bay going to Cape Town and pick up there, and our fleet is in Cape Town. We're flexible enough to assist our customer to pick up product in Cape Town again and take it into Mossel Bay and make sure that those retail sites do not run dry as best as we can.
I love that so much, because nobody wants to not be able to get fuel when you need it, right? Great. You've given me sprinklings of technology. I've heard about telematics. I've heard about dashboards. But let's go more into technology and how Unitrans is leveraging technology to improve operations, enhance efficiencies, and ultimately reduce costs.
So our transport management system we use in Africa is called Solarplan. It's a German system, and it's a fully integrated system. So effectively, you load as I spoke about earlier, the journey management plan where the driver is going, and everything is integrated into that. Once the order is placed, the driver, when he turns on the ignition, the vehicle is the tracking and the telematics is integrated into the solar plan, into the transport management system, along with any other systems that you're using, such as Vantage. And then basically as the driver progresses through the trip, everything is visible from and normally we have it monitored from a centralized control tower. For example, the Botswana fleet are monitored from a control tower in Cape Town, and any events which take place on the trip. So, for example, if the driver goes off route or if he stops for too long, there'll be an alert which is sent to by the control tower to the dispatch manager, and that dispatch manager will automatically contact the driver to see what's going on. So a fully integrated approach.
I love telematics.
I think if I can just make one comment, I think that the technology has really helped both the customer. I mean, the customer is able to benefit for things like sign-on glass, where they can get their PODs and their paperwork much faster, so then they can bill their customers faster. It also has helped Unitrans as an organization, and it's also helped for the staff, for the safety of the staff. If you think about if a driver gets hijacked, for example, he may not be able to respond in a situation. Whereas if we've got the technology which we've got, the guys on the control tower will know that something is wrong and they can respond accordingly. So I think it's a benefit to everyone.
Absolutely. Safety is such a huge thing, not only based on the issues on the road, but because you're dealing with dangerous, hazardous goods, right? So what are some of the biggest safety risks in your space? And what measures have you got to mitigate them? Okay,
so safety is of paramount importance. Unitrans have very stringent safety, health, environmental policies, which are practiced across the organization. We have SHEC departments in all of our operations, and the SHEC departments liaise very closely with the other departments, such as the driver trainers, who obviously are very, very involved with coaching the drivers. So the drivers undergo regular medicals. They undergo regular defensive driving courses and techniques. It obviously receives top priority.
Yeah, so I can tag on to there. So road safety remains our number one focus area, can I put it that, our number one concern. So it's all about getting the basis right. So you start off, first of all, we got our in-house training centers in Joburg, Durban, P and Cape Town. We got TITA accredited training for our staff, so for our new employees. It goes through weeks of theory training, and then also specialized training the following week. And thereafter, the practical training starts. The practical training starts on defensive driver training and the on-the-job training. So that's from cradle to grave. So basically start from loading process, vehicle check, right through to the delivery process and returning to the depot. So taking every single step in that process through that. And we spent about 2 months training a new driver from employment until he's actually signed off our driver trainers.
So before he or she actually pulls off with the first load, they've been in training for 2 solid months. Yes, that is incredible.
So you start with that theory critical training, and then after that, it's on the vehicle with the driver mentors, with the driver trainer. Driver trainer will spend some time with the driver, the new driver, see where there's more work to do, then the driver mentor takes over. So basically doing the actual job, the driver mentor is actually doing the job and actually guiding a new employee into that process, and finally getting that process to a sign-off status. That's where our driver trainer comes in again, assessing again, working with that specific new driver that we got until such time that he is signed off and he's happy that he's competent in every single aspect. He's competent in the offloading process, he's competent in the loading process, especially because we're doing multi-house loading and multi-house offloading. So it becomes a little bit more complex in that regard. And then also in terms of on-the-road performance, defensive driving, fatigue management, and that's a critical part as well, ensuring that those bases are correct. So you get training on how to manage fatigue, number 1. 2 is also to understanding the work cycles and how that actually helps in terms of preventing fatigue on the road. So our driver trainers is well equipped, or our trainers are well equipped, as well as our drivers at the end of the day when he gets signed off. And once he leaves the depot and is out there, then we also invest in a technology on our vehicles, meaning that our vehicles are also assisting our drivers to perform and actually succeed out there on the road.
So kudos to Unitrans, eh?
Yeah.
You wanted to say
I
something,
wanted to add on to what Lou was saying is it does not only stop after the 2 months. There's also consistency in terms of refreshers every year. So every year the driver would come back and get a refresher training. And also one of the things is product handling with our drivers. That is very important. Placing a driver with a product and that driver not knowing what type of product, and should anything happen, the driver was aware of the dangers of the product that he's carrying.
Okay.
So those are one of the things that we really emphasize on. The consistency, the constant monitoring and coaching from the driver trainers. I mean, our technology enables us to see if a driver is speeding or what, and the driver is called in and he's coached.
Also, when a driver returns from a trip, it's very important that he's properly debriefed.
Yeah.
So we have a system where the dispatch manager will sit with the driver and go through his trip.
Every single driver
Yeah.
coming back
Yeah.
from every single trip.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Was he speeding? Was he harsh braking? Was there signs of fatigue? Did he take an unauthorized stop or go off route? And if there's problems, then we will coach and counsel him.
Your drivers get a lot of support to be able to help them thrive through some of these challenges. How would you describe the culture at Unitrans?
We have a very diverse and inclusive culture.
Okay.
I think one is allowed to be themselves, and as long as there's a safe environment to be yourselves. And Unitrans really is a diverse. We are made of diverse group, and the culture is we work hard, but we also play hard. I think.
Yeah.
We work very hard. We've got values. That is very clear. We've got our company values, but we also play hard.
Very nice. Let's talk teamwork. How big a role do you think it's played in the success of Unitrans, and how far you've gotten that as an organization?
Teamwork plays exceptionally important role. I mean, I can answer it through a story. What actually happened a few years ago, when one of the specific LPG customers wanted a specific tanker redesign, basically for exactly what they needed. So we involved our technical department, involved our engineers from the tank builder, GRW, to actually build this tanker. And it involved the technical team from the customer actually specifying building this new tanker. It was a bit longer, which we would like to call a bullet tanker. So the dynamics has changed for what we had before for the customer, what we now need for the customer to fit their needs. And it involved our operational teams as well. So our driver trainers had to go out to all the sites, revisited all the entry, exit plans, where the vehicle will park, how will it impact the customer in terms of their operational needs. And so basically go through the whole process for this new tanker and its dynamics, getting the vehicle in there safely, getting it out safely without actually impacting the operations of the customer. At the end of the day, after a long process, these tankers are built, and we built 10 of those tankers for the customer, and they're operational in Cape Town and Durban.
This was not the norm, right?
No, it's not a norm for doing something like that, but it is in a way as well, because we are customer focused, and whatever the customer needs are. So that's where we succeed at. We're understanding our customer. We're trying to fill whatever their needs is and whatever their dynamics is, because it's not just plain sailing conveyor belt type of operations. It's got its peaks and valleys. It's got its constraints, like the tank is constraints that we spoke about earlier. Our customers got cash flow constraints. So you're understanding that market and how do you need to fill it, because it's got peaks and valleys. Sure. And let's not talk about price changes, because that is a different nightmare.
I think just to add on to you, it's just to simplify it, to say we form partnerships with our clients. Literally, we form partnership with our clients. We just don't view them as they are clients. We in partnership in this, and we make it happen. That's what we
make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen. What excites you about Unitrans and its future?
I'm excited to be a part of Unitrans. I think it's a great company to work for. They look after their employees, and I think it's got a good future. I think our management is very much long-term focused, and we always make a solution for our customers. So talking about sustainability, as long as we can keep our customers happy, always provide them with a workable solution, I think it will be sustainable and a great place to work.
Yeah, so the renewed focus on our people, really focusing, involving everybody. We have joint leadership forums, meaning from our driver groups, our leader teams there, having those discussions there and including them in the decision making. You've got driver trainers, you've got supervisors, you've got management in there, you've got HR in there. All of those items, that excites me. That helps in terms of where the company wants to go to. But a new focus in our people and ultimately then keep our customer centricity going.
In this episode, we covered a lot of ground, discussing Unitran's capabilities and experience in transporting and handling petroleum, chemical, and gas products. The company is certainly making it happen in terms of safety, sustainability, and employee development. Thank you for listening to this episode. Be sure to listen to the full Make It Happen series, and these episodes can be found on Unitran's YouTube channel, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment, like, and share with a friend.